They are physical better than us, I think, and it was hard for us.
They can good dribble, they're very fast, but as a team, not so.
刚开始看他们又高又壮。
At first, they looked tall and strong, and their coordination seemed good. But after we played them, we felt they weren't as strong as our opponents back in the provincial league.
The German team just crushes us in every way.
We felt our footwork was better than theirs.
If I be honest, I thought they were a bit better because the Chinese aren't so popular in the world in football, but I was 100% sure that they are stronger physically.
China, economy second largest in the world, population one of the largest in the world, men's national football team ranking 91st, one World Cup appearance 2002, and since then nothing but decline. For decades that has been the story, a nation of 1.4 billion, obsessed with the game yet unable to produce a team that can compete. The gap between economic miracle and footballing misery has become a punchline. But punchlines get old, and sometimes they stop being true. This is the sound of the 9th Chinese-German U16 Youth Football Friendship Tournament, Nantong, China, August 2026. 8 teams, 5 Chinese, 3 German.
Hello.
There I interviewed coaches, players, and the man who co-founded the event. Klaus Schlappner, the first foreign head coach of the Chinese national team. And what I saw on those pitches upended something I thought I knew about Chinese football. Because here's what's at stake. After the 2026 World Cup, renowned Chinese football commentator Zhang Lu, former deputy director of the Chinese FA's Strategic Planning Committee, made a bold prediction. He said China will qualify for the 2034 World Cup, and by 2038, he said they will reach their best ever results. His reasoning: 2015 was a turning point. That's when school-level football started to take root in China. The current U17 generation is the first crop to benefit. By 2034, these players will enter their prime. By 2038, they will be 28 or 29, the golden age for a World Cup campaign. This tournament in Nantong, it's a window into that future. These U16 players, they are the ones Zhang Lu was talking about. Let's go to the pitch and see what they've got. Let's start with the common assumption that Chinese players are smaller, weaker, and would be easily bullied by European opponents. That was at least my assumption, and that assumption died in the very first game I watched. Yangzhou U16 against the Rhine-Neckar regional selection. Yangzhou came from 1 goal down to win 2-1, but it wasn't the score that shocked me, it was the way they won. The Yangzhou players matched the Germans physically. No, they exceeded them. They were stronger in challenges, more aggressive in duels. One moment stood out to me. The German forward attempted to use his body to hold off a Yangzhou defender, but the defender wasn't having any of it. He aggressively stepped in, out-muscled his opponent, and reclaimed possession. Pure power and absolute dominance. After the match, Yangzhou's coach Yang Bo put it bluntly.
For our kids at this age, U16, U17, if they don't have strength now, it's very hard to go further. At this stage, you need physical battles. Plus, Chinese people aren't short of nutrition anymore, are we? Food is no longer something we are worried about, because we are wealthier, unlike before. Don't look at us with the old eyes anymore. Our physical quality has already caught up.
For Yangzhou player Wang Xin, who scored one of the goals, it was his first game against a foreign team. Before the match, his assumptions about his opponent's physicality were the same as mine.
At first, they looked tall and strong, and their coordination seemed good. But after we played them, we felt they weren't as strong as our opponents back in the provincial league.
And it's not just one game. After a few encounters, here are what the German players said about their Chinese peers.
I think it was really tough. The football from them was way better than ours. And yeah, everything from them was just better. They were bigger, stronger, everything. Physically and mentally, they are just faster.
But my first impression of the Chinese team is that they are bigger and stronger, like the bodybuilding of them. That's a plus point for them.
Rhein-Neckar coach Daniel Drissler, who lost to Yangzhou and Nantong, also complimented the Chinese players' physicality.
They're good in tacklings and one-on-one situations. Very good, very strong and fast players.
Let that sink in. 3 separate German teams from Bundesliga academies, Liga clubs and regional selections all said the same thing. The Chinese U16 players are strong, big and physical. That is not the Chinese football I grew up watching. If physicality was the first myth shattered, technique was the second. I went in expecting heavy touches, misplaced passes, and predictable dribbling, as we often saw from Chinese teams. Instead, I saw moments of pure individual brilliance that would light up any academy. In that same Yangzhou Rhein-Neckar game, I watched a Yangzhou left winger, surrounded by 3 German defenders, execute a perfect La Croqueta, the iconic move of Spanish legend Andrés Iniesta, and glide past them as if they were standing still. Then Yangzhou player Han Chu showed some flair when he scored the winner for his team.
For my goal, their defender didn't mark me properly, and my teammate gave me a through ball and I chipped it. Before the game, I thought they had some quality, but after playing, I felt they were not as strong as the teams we meet in our province.
He said overall his team outplayed the opponents in techniques.
We felt our footwork was better than theirs.
The German coaches saw it too. Drissler told me he was impressed by the Chinese players' techniques.
Individually, a very good ball control and good movements on the ball. And the Chinese team also very good movements off the ball, very good timing in their runs. Number 24, small but very compact and strong, good with both feet, and good shots on goal, good runs, good dribbling, very good player.
Then there was the Jiangsu-Suzhou domestic match. Jiangsu dominated possession, but the Suzhou centre forward, a towering 1.87-meter giant, showed incredible touch on the counter. He took a through ball on the run, shrugged off 2 defenders, and calmly slotted it into the corner. That combination of size and finesse is something you'd expect from a European striker, not a Chinese city team player. But the real revelation was Jiangsu's number 10, Zhu Jiaxu. Against Mannheim, he scored a screamer from outside the box. Won and converted a penalty, and then, after scoring twice, dropped deep to play as a central midfielder, dictating tempo and spraying passes. A player who can finish like a striker, create like a playmaker, and control the game like a deep-lying midfielder at 16 years old. The German players respected that. The Rhein-Neckar player who had faced Zhu Jiaxu admitted that he was impressed by Zhu's game.
I played yesterday against someone and he was very strong, and he even was stronger than the player of my team, and the player of my team is like very strong and the other Chinese people were stronger, and he was very impressive.
Union Berlin coach André Vilk also praised the Jiangsu captain.
The captain was good, good mentality, good in the duels, so I think he was the best player of the opponent. Yeah, good structure for the team, good mentality. This was good.
One of the most consistent comments from German players was about Chinese speed, especially on the wings. I saw it with my own eyes. Chinese wingers and fullbacks consistently outpaced German defenders, often with just raw acceleration. In the Jiangsu Mannheim game, the right winger repeatedly burned his marker on the outside. Mannheim's Alexander Ingernold told me the Chinese players gave them real trouble with sheer speed.
The right winger, my opponent, he was really fast and just got every ball. In every high ball he was there and with the head and just did a pretty good job.
Union Berlin's Leopold von Schleier also gave a thumb up to the Chinese players' acceleration ability after playing Jiangsu.
They are very fast and can dribble good.
Their long ball passes were very good, I think, very effective.
The Rhein-Neckar coach Drissler also mentioned the Chinese players' combination of long passes and speed.
Deep runs, very good long balls behind our backline.
This is a huge shift. For years, Chinese teams were known for being technically slow, physically static. Now these 16-year-olds are leaving German academy players in the dust. The raw athletic material isn't there. Schlappner also noticed some very talented Chinese players on the sideline.
There are very good Chinese talents, physically strong players and technically skilled ones alike at this tournament.
Another stereotype that crumbled, the idea that Chinese players lack heart, that they give up when things get tough. But in every match I watched, the Chinese teams fought until the final whistle, sometimes reckless, but never passively. In the Jiangsu Union Berlin group match, Jiangsu went 1-0 down. They didn't fold, they pushed, they pressed, they chased every lost course. I saw a Jiangsu midfielder get dribbled past, get up immediately, and sprint 40 meters to win the ball back alongside the teammates. I saw a winger chase a ball that was already cutting out of play. The German players had stopped, assuming a throw-in, but he sprinted to the line, kept it in, and created a crossing opportunity. That's not a team that lacks desire. Jiangsu coach Zhang Wei told me about his players' mentality.
Our kids' fighting spirit is very good. Before the match, many players told me they felt pain in their legs, and I said, if you have injuries, don't play. But they said no. They had to bite down and finish their last game. That moved me a lot.
That same spirit was evident in Yangzhou's game. After conceding an early goal against Rhein-Neckar, they didn't retreat. They attacked, kept the pressure on, and eventually turned the game around. They even kept pushing after taking the lead. That was particularly impressive to me. No slowing down, no matter when. Their coach Yang Bo said winning mentality is something he's certain about his team.
We definitely wanted to win. This made our overall game better than theirs.
So, the will is there, the fight is there, but fight alone doesn't win you trophies. And this is where the real gap emerged. If there's one theme that ran through every German interview, every coach's analysis, and every painful loss, it's this. The Chinese players are individually excellent, but collectively, they are not a team. I ran into a German player in the elevator after the matches. He made a key point.
They can good dribble, they're very fast, but as a team, not so good. The chemie is not there.
Mannheim's Ayman Kilic put it even more specifically.
Union Berlin has all the time the ball, almost all the time. They control the game and they scan the whole field better. They already know where to play the ball before they get the ball. The Chinese team isn't bad, they are playing good, and sometimes the Chinese players want to do it themselves. They just look straight and go with the ball alone, not like looking to the other player.
That was also the story I noticed from the Chinese teams. The best example was in Jiangsu's game against Union Berlin. Zhu Jiaxu, Jiangsu's best player, picked up the ball on the wing, beat one man and then tried to take on two more rather than passing. He lost it. That was Jiangsu's game in a microcosm. Individual brilliance, not collective pattern. This was even more obvious in the Nantong Rhein-Neckar game. Nantong won 3-1, but their coach spent the entire first half shouting instructions. Every touch, every pass, every movement was called from the sideline. A defender wanted to pass back. The coach screamed for him to go forward. Two players double-teamed a winger. The coach yelled for one to drop. The players couldn't read the game themselves. They needed a live audio feed. Meanwhile, the German coaches sat in the dugout, observing, occasionally standing to say one or two words. Their players already knew what to do because they had been trained in a system, not just in isolated drills. Jiangsu coach Chang Wei admitted this after the Union Berlin game.
The things we need to learn from the German players are their execution on the pitch, their tactical approach. The first thing is decision-making. Before you receive the ball, you have to think about what your next decision is. We're still learning that step by step.
And Schlappner, watching from the stands, diagnosed the same issue.
Man kann jetzt schon sehen, dass die Spieler bei vielen
The games differ in many matches because not all 11 Chinese play dynamically and smartly. Yes, it's just processed that way. The Chinese or Chinese teams tend to play too casually. There's catching up to do.
This isn't about talent. It seems to me that German players have built a system where every movement is connected to every other. Chinese players, for all their gifts, are still learning to see the whole picture. Team Hebei player Liu Zexu said he felt it himself when playing Union Berlin.
Their tactics are more mature, their patterns and tactical play are mature, and they're well-drilled. But the gap isn't as big as we imagined. After all, they're from top league academies.
After 2 days of fierce competition, the two best teams stood out and met in the final. Jiangsu U16 versus Union Berlin U16, rematch of the group stage 1-1 draw. Even for a friendly tournament, a final can be intense. Before the kickoff, no smiles on the players, only serious warm-ups and the coach's repeated instructions. Jiangsu's coach told his players to play tough. Being polite doesn't win games. After all, football is about winning. For the first 15 minutes of the final, Jiangsu held firm. Compact defense, no chances given, but the difference was visible in the spaces between the players. Berlin's passing was sharp, purposeful, connected. Every player moved as part of a system. Jiangsu's play was fragmented, isolated moments of individual brilliance, but no collective rhythm. The deadlock was broken before half-time. Berlin scored from a free kick, 1-0. That was a big punch for Jiangsu U16. Their game strategy of sitting back and looking for counter-attack chances failed. Jiangsu pushed forward desperately, trying to equalize, and they left gaping holes at the back. Berlin picked them off again and again. 3-0, then 4-0, then 5-0. And here's where the emotional side came in. Jiangsu's players got frustrated. The tackles got harder. There were confrontations. You could see it. The composure that had served them so well against the Mannheim was gone. They wanted to win so badly that they forgot how to play. Now, if you only looked at the scoreline, you'd think, okay, same old story. China gets thrashed by Germany. Nothing has changed. But that's not what happened. And everyone who was there will tell you, 5-0 didn't reflect the real gap between the two teams.
Did the scoreline reflect the gap between the two sides, do you think?
No, I don't think so. But the opponent plays the same like in the group stage, very many long balls. I saw a physical team, I saw a technical team. You need both. The opponent in the final, not technical, not so good. They play a lot of long balls. They do it well.
We actually had chances today. 2 penalties weren't given. If we had scored that first half chance, it might have been a different game. The players got anxious at the end, and with these 2 days of high-intensity matches, they've reached their limit. They're all exhausted, many playing with injuries. The score isn't the real gap. I think they have their strengths and we have ours. At this age, they do have things worth learning from, but we shouldn't think we're far too behind. I think we can still compete with them.
But the final exposed another vulnerability: emotional control. Facing the one-goal deficit, the Jiangsu players' will was there. They wanted it desperately. But the raw desire without tactical discipline and emotional regulation became their undoing. They tried to win the game in 5 minutes, and instead, they lost it in 5 goals. The German players, by contrast, stayed calm. They stuck to their system. Nothing changed when they scored. They kept playing the same way. That's a habit, not a gift. Schlappner has seen this before.
Jetzt hat 220 Minuten, da muss man vom Kopf her, ja, so.
You have to be so mentally prepared that you play the entire match duration with concentration. You break a sweat, yes, and sometimes physically you're at a disadvantage too, but you have to want it. The will has to be stronger than fatigue. If you want it, then do it together. Whoever doesn't want to, go home. It's done.
Nantong U16 coach Bai Fan also noticed that the German players showed great discipline while keeping high game intensity.
Their focus on the game is something worth learning from. Their concentration and commitment. For example, when the German players push forward, their defensive pressure caused us some difficulties. Their attitude of fighting for every ball is very good.
So where does that leave us? Is this a reason for pessimism? Actually, no. Quite the opposite. Schlappner, who has been coming to China for these tournaments for over a decade, told me he's never been more optimistic.
Every year it's a new experience. We go to different cities and regions, but my overall impression here in Nantong is very positive. The Chinese youth teams are exceptionally competitive. That wasn't always the case in the past, but now, watching today's game, it's truly impressive and well-balanced. It's a real battle against the German side, total jungle out there. I'm genuinely delighted to see such a youth football landscape in China that can hold its own against foreign teams. That kind of stability and quality will pay off later in the national team as well.
Schlappner encouraged the Chinese coaches to be braver in using these promising players.
Das muss ein Trainer auch sehen.
A coach must also see that you increasingly give players the chance. The Chinese coaches always have the "no, you can't do that" attitude, but it should be "yes, you can do that." Even an 18-year-old can already play as a pro in the national team, but he has to be clear and he has to be ambitious. The Chinese can play football, but they have to do it right.
And he repeated his long-held belief that Chinese players need to go abroad, not necessarily to Bayern or Dortmund, but to places where they can actually play.
Denen muss man die Chance geben, aber auch hier. Die muss man so ausbilden.
You have to give them the chance to play overseas, but also here at home. They need to be trained with an international vision and in an international atmosphere. It's about China being present at the big international tournaments, starting with the youth level. This country deserves it, and its people deserve it.
Will the 16-year-olds be the generation that takes China to the 2034 World Cup? Schlappner seems optimistic.
Yes, you can dream about 2034. You have to dream, but stick with it as soon as possible.
But he reminded me that the journey is long. 12 years from now, these boys will be 28. They need to be playing professionally, with intensity, every single day. They need to stop treating football as a leisure activity and start treating it as a work, as hard as mining, as demanding as construction. But the raw material is there. The strength, the speed, the technique, the heart. It's all present. What's missing is the system that turns individuals into a team, the education that turns talent into intelligence, the culture that turns desire into discipline. Schlappner calls this tournament a seed project, and the seeds have been planted. Over 15 years, this tournament between Chinese and German youths has evolved from a friendly exchange into a genuine competition. The Chinese teams no longer come to learn. they come to win, and sometimes they do. The question now is whether Chinese football will water those seeds with better coaching, better systems, better pathways from school to professional, and a relentless focus on collective play. I left Nantong not with despair, but with hope. These kids are not the punchline, they are the future. The seeds are planted, the question is, are we ready to watch them grow? So maybe 2034 wasn't a bold prediction, not an illusion or a dream. It's something being realized from now. Thanks for listening to Sideline Story Special Edition, The Seeds Are Planted. I'm Yang Guang, see you next time.